Okay. Can you state your full name, full real name?
My full name,
Mm-hmm.
Regina Catherine. You know my last name.
Do you know your last name?
No, I don't know my last name.
Doucette.
Doucette.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. And do you have a nickname?
A what?
A nickname.
A nickname? What would my nickname be? Fogo.
Fogo?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get Fogo from?
I have no idea. Some idiot called me that.
What about Jean the dancing machine?
Right on.
And where were you born?
In Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. And how did your family come to Newfoundland?
How do what?
How did your family come to Newfoundland?
Well, apparently I was told that my dad had been shipped over from some foreign land to Newfoundland, and a family adopted him.
Ooh.
And
do you know who the family was? No,
I have no idea who the family were. And apparently, in those days, if a family, like if a husband has no wife, his wife dies, and he has children, what he does is gets a young woman in the house to look after the children and him. And 9 times out of 10, what happens is that he marries the woman.
Oh.
And this is what happens.
So it's like a maid almost, and then brings it in, and then they end up marrying each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And apparently Dad had been married and lost his wife, and he had a few children, and then he got their mom in, and she looked after the children, and and then they got married. Him and her got married.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how they got married.
And can you name all your brothers and sisters?
Jared, Howard, Godfrey, Gorman, Margaret, Ann, myself, and Ernie, Nelson, and Austin. I think that's all of
So
them.
how many in total?
How many?
Yeah.
There was about 12 of us, I guess, something like that.
12?
We had big families, yeah.
And what was your house like growing up?
It was on a hill, because that at Newfoundland is all hills.
Yeah.
So it was on a hill, okay? And we had the big main floor, and then we had the bottom of the house was built by the land, like it went down like that. And apparently there was an apartment downstairs that they used to rent out. And then there was a smaller apartment.
Who lived in the downstairs?
Pardon?
Who lived downstairs?
They would rent it out to different people.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do you remember who lived down there?
Well, there was an elderly couple there at one time, and apparently they had, I think they had bought tickets on a car or something, and he won it, and he only had it for a short time, because he used to take us into church in the morning, because we were real church goers. Yeah. My father and my mother went to church all the time in the morning, and we used to go into church in town at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock mass in the morning. And he used to drive us in, this chap from downstairs, and he would sit outside and wait for the mass to come out. He wouldn't go to mass. And so anyway, he had his car a very short time, and he smashed it up. Brand spanking new car.
Really? Figuratively. What is your earliest childhood memory? Thinking
that's a
way
toughie.
back. Yeah.
That's a toughie.
Do you remember what's a happy moment you remember being a kid?
Can't remember any happy moments.
Oh.
No, I Yeah.
Do you remember any games you played growing up?
No.
No? Okay. What was your favorite toy?
Favorite toy?
Yeah. Like a doll or I don't know. I don't know what she played back with that.
It was probably a little doll, probably,
Do you remember
that I can think of.
Oh, you don't remember the name of it?
No, it was a doll that was given to us at Christmas.
Oh, okay. Did you have any chores growing up?
Yeah, we had to do work all the time.
Yeah, like what?
Well, the women of the house, my sister Ann and I were home most of the time because my older sister Margaret, she got married, and she was off it with her own family. And my sister Ann and I, we used to have, I would have to do the cleaning of the rooms and everything, or she would have the cleaning, and then I would have the cleaning of the living room and kitchen, and she would have all the bedrooms and that to do. So we had our chores.
Oh. Did you ever get an allowance?
No.
No allowance. What was your meals like every day?
Well, we were mostly fish. We had fish every day except Sunday. That was the only day we had meat. And on Sunday we had chicken.
Chicken? Is that why you like chicken so much?
Guess so.
Yeah. Did you have any pets growing up?
We had a dog one time,
Mm-hmm.
but for a very short time. I don't know what happened to him.
Do you remember his name?
No, I don't.
No. Huh. And what's your religion?
Catholic.
You're Catholic? That's
Mhm.
good. Do you remember any childhood friends that you always played with?
Yes, I had Helen McCarthy lived not far from us, and we used to chum. She was my best friend. And
What did you guys do together?
pardon?
What did you guys do together?
Well, we mostly when we went to school, we chummed around, and then we would chum around very little after school because we had to go home and do work at home. We weren't allowed to be out playing or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Huh. How is how is the world different from what it was like when you were a child? Like today, how is it different from?
It's totally different because in those days, a husband and wife married, and they were to have as many children as possible, and they were very stern and strict with them.
Oh.
Today, it's not like that.
No. What do you think today's like?
Well, it gives the children a little more time to go and play and do things like that, and which is nice, and it gives grown-ups, time to get out and do their thing as well.
Do you know? Oh, sorry. What do you? Oh no. Wait 1 second. What's your husband's name?
Pardon?
What's your husband's full name?
Wesley Paul Doucette.
Wesley Paul Doucette. And how did you guys end up in Port Hope?
We met in Toronto, and he wouldn't leave me alone because he fell right in love with me. And he decided he gave me an engagement ring, and he proposed to me and all. And so we got married in Toronto. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then we were in Toronto for several years. And a friend of ours came out, and they were out on the farm there right across from Pierre and Lorraine. There was a little house across there. And we come to visit them. And then we visit Lorraine and Carrie because they come over and that. And I enjoyed the place so good, and he did too. He said, we should move out here. We should move out here. I said that would be the best thing we could ever do.
Yeah.
So anyway, we decided to move to Bowmanville first, which we did for a short time. And then we moved to Port Hope. And it was the best thing that ever happened to us to get out of that city.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working in the city yet when he was working in the city and he was still drinking and such. And anyway, he was working at a place where the two people that owned the business were from his hometown in Fredericton and New Brunswick. And apparently he decided, him and a friend of his at work decided to go down to his home for a beer, which they did. And they were gone about 4 or 5 days before they got back. In the meantime, those two guys that ran the business came out to visit me in Port Hope. And so anyway, not in Port Hope, in Bowmanville. And so anyway, they thought, they said, they come in and told me, you know, they had something to tell me and all that. And they thought I was going to bawl and cry or something. So anyway, they told me that when they come back, that Wesley wasn't having a job anymore. He's being fired. I said, thank God for that. And you should have seen the look on their faces. I said, now maybe I can do something with the man. So anyway, I remembered before he come home, I got in touch with the members of AA. They were on the streets, right on the side of the streets from us. And so I spoke to them about it, and they told me that they would have a talk with him and get him to a meeting. So anyway, he come home, and he was in the kitchen, and he never said a word. And I said, Wesley, I want you to sit here at the table, and I'm going upstairs for 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, I want you to make up your mind whether you want to go back to Toronto or whether you want to stay with your family. And I said, in that case, if you want to stay with them, you've got to join AA and stop drinking. So anyway, I went upstairs for 5 minutes, and I come back down. And I said, well, have you made up your mind what you're going to do? He said, yes. He said, I want to quit drinking. So I said, okay. So I took him over to the people from AA. So he went to his first meeting that Friday. Yeah. And then that was down in Bowmanville, not too far from here. And so then we decided to come up to Port Hope. And when we come up to Port Hope, all the meetings were in Coburg. And so then he went to Coburg. And what they started up in Coburg was a club where we could go up and play, you know, get in the club and meet everyone, chit-chat and have fun. And they would entertain.
Was that the Dart Club? Or that's the Nanny.
They would get up and entertain, and we dance and stuff like that.
1 second.
So
I just gotta pause the camera and start a new one because I think I'm running out of time.